So if you remember, last time we left Eugenia, she was being attempted to play by Gaston, but then she decided she didn't like it, so she stormed off and went to her room and closed the door. So here we go, chapter 6. Eugenia got into bed and pulled the covers over her head, but even from underneath the covers, she could hear that the accordion music and the clapping had begun again. General Washington crept out from beneath the bed and got under the covers with Eugenia. Meow, he said. Eugenia could still feel Gaston's fingers on top of hers. She could still feel the note from the accordion reverberating in her body. It was a strange feeling, but was it necessarily a bad feeling? Nonsense, said Eugenia out loud into the darkness. And then Eugenia remembered what Frank had said. Don't you want to know who sent you the accordion? It's very mysterious, isn't it? Eugenia hated to admit it, but it was mysterious. It was unsettling. Who indeed? The world was confusing, unpredictable, chaotic. Eugenia disapproved of confusion and unpredictability and chaos. But despite her disapproval, there still existed mysterious accordions and pigs that sat on couches and little men who wore green velvet suits. Eugenia pulled the covers up even higher. The storm outside continued. She could hear the rain beating down. The raindrops were so loud, so ferocious, that they almost drowned out the noise of the accordion music. Almost, but not quite. Underneath the covers, Eugenia put her hand on her heart. Was there truly music in it? Ridiculous, said Eugenia out loud. Gee-haws, whoop-de-whoops, frivolity. From the kitchen, there came a sound of laughter. Eugenia Lincoln's heart hurt just the tiniest bit. She wasn't sure why. In the morning, Eugenia rose from her bed and went out to the kitchen and found that it was in severe disarray. Chairs were overturned, crumbs were on the counter, unwashed plates were piled in the sink. There was an entire fruitcake in the center of the kitchen table. A fly was hovering over it, buzzing happily. "Baby," shouted Eugenia, "I demand an explanation." The only answer was the buzzing of the fly. Business cards littered the floor. The cards were covered in strange and alarming words. Taxidermy, joyous, predictions, palpitations, truffles, fleas. "This is unacceptable," said Eugenia. She walked into the living room and encountered Gaston Latroux asleep on the couch, still wearing his velvet suit. His velvet hat was on his head. His hands were folded on his chest. There was a smile on his lips. The accordion, that instrument of torture and chaos, was on the chair beside the couch. "Tell me I'm dreaming," said Eugenia. "Surely this is a nightmare." Gaston's eyes fluttered. His smile deepened. He said, "Madam, I can show you the music is within you." Eugenia put her hand on Gaston's shoulder and shook him as violently as she dared. His eyes remained closed. He smacked his lips and said, "Yes, the truffle, of course. The pig will be very useful in this regard." "Wake up," shouted Eugenia. Gaston snuggled more deeply into the couch. Eugenia turned her attention away from the little man. She looked at the accordion. Actually, she glared at it. And horror of horrors, she felt it glaring at her in return. "You are losing your mind, Eugenia Lincoln," she said out loud. "It's time to put an end to this nonsense." All of it. The frivolity, the chaos, the whoop-de-whoops, the little men in green suits, the music in her heart, the talking out loud to herself, all of it had to stop. Eugenia picked up the accordion. It was very heavy, extremely heavy, entirely too heavy. Gaston made a snuffing noise. He smacked his lips. Eugenia looked over at him. She looked down at the accordion in her arms, and then she tiptoed across the living room and out the front door. General Washington followed her.